Sure. It's actually the same offensive coordinator from the bowl game. I think he had just maybe they hadn't announced it yet or whatever, but he ended up doing it. But yeah, I mean they're very similar this year to what they were last year. So having to go through the prep for that game, preparing for them, and having that experience heading into our bowl game last year has certainly helped me be more familiar with them this year than some of the other opponents that I've faced this year. It's been for the first time.
What makes that quarterback so difficult?
I think the scheme that they run really on early downs takes really good advantage of his skill set. With some of the zone read and RPO options, he's able to get the ball pulled some and run it. He's able to get the ball pulled and get on the perimeter to throw. And so there's a lot of run pass conflict there. And then on third down, they're really somewhat simple with what they do, but they're very challenging because they'll give you some first and second down plays that you got to defend in addition to some of the drop backs, and then he can just scramble really, really well. Very elusive and hard to bring down in the pocket. Breaks tackles, extends plays to throw it, extends plays. He'll scramble for run. I remember last year getting ready for the bowl game and seeing multiple like 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14, and they could drop back to pass, and next thing you know, he runs for a first down. So
So how important? I mean, it's always about rush lane integrity. How is that just vital against a guy like him? Not lose.
Absolutely. It is, and for guys like him, you want to try to keep him in the pocket. I mean, you want to do that with all quarterbacks, but a guy like him especially. I mean, some guys, if they leak out a little bit, you feel like you can get somebody running them down. I mean, it's very challenging with him. He'll have guys draped all over him and find a way to get out of there. So we'll have our hands full from that standpoint.
Sorry, is it different with a guy like him who's seen so much college football? You're probably not going to throw something at him he hasn't seen before. Does that sort of change how you play him? That
his
it's probably
experience,
not gonna confuse him. Yeah.
right? I don't know. It makes it more difficult because he is so experienced and he has seen so many looks. I don't know if I think you just try to sit down and come up with the best game plan that you can. And that's every week. You're trying to do some things to disguise the coverage look some and confuse guys. But at the end of the day, figuring out a way to stop, especially on the conversion downs, the schemes that they give is a challenge, and it'll be a big deal in the game on Saturday. Friday.
Two out of the last three games, your defense has really clamped the opponent's ability to score. Have they turned that corner into priming into what they really can be this year?
I hope so. We've had some kind of peaks and valleys, during the season, and a lot of it is just small things, a little nuance, something that we maybe need to emphasize a little bit better as coaches, or maybe a technique where we didn't play fundamentally quite as well. I think our guys, we talked about it from when we started back in training camp, that we just wanted to be a group and a defense that would continue to make progress as the year went on, and I think that we've done that. And I do think that at this point in the season, I hope that our guys have the most confidence that they've had and are executing their techniques at the highest level that we have, because our football team has put ourselves in a phenomenal opportunity to be sitting where we're at. So it's a credit to our kids, and defensively certainly pleased with the progress they've made.
Right, you say you're taking advantage of the opportunity. Your defense is opportunistic, but it's also been very good situationally, especially 2 weeks ago when you had to hold off on a 2-point conversion. What does it say about your defense that even if they've given up a lot of points or a few points, they can still clamp on the back end or make a play?
Sure. I think that Coach Fritz is really big on emphasizing situations in practice, using some analytics to help with some of those things at times as well. And that's something that I think, we do a good job organizationally of kind of mapping out during the week, and giving our guys opportunities to be put in those situations with hopefully the calls that we feel like would be the best calls to execute in any given opportunity in the game. So I think at the end of the day, though, I think our kids are playing really hard, and I think that they've had some success at different times during the year, and leading back to last year, obviously, just the confidence of our players to know that even when the momentum shifts to the other team, when we come to those critical situations, we've got the ability to get it flipped back by winning in some of those critical downs. And at different points in the year, that's been really big for us to come out and even some of these tight ball games find a way to get it done at the end.
If you don't mind, what is special about Willie Fritz now that you've seen enough? Look, 22-3 over the last 2 years, pretty incredible. From your standpoint, what is special about him?
I think that he's got his head screwed on the right way. I mean, he is just I think, very common sense, high character guy that treats people the right way, that is efficient, that is effective. I think he's extremely organized. Just a very straightforward, experienced approach that he knows how to manage people, he knows how to manage personnel, he knows how to manage the organization and the structure of it, and he's got a ton of reps, and there's no substitute for experience. Just like talking about UTSA's quarterback. I mean, when you've seen stuff and you've seen what works and what doesn't, that certainly helps. I've been extremely appreciative of the opportunity to come here and work under him and for him and see and learn. I've learned a ton from him since I got here in the spring, and just seeing how he does a lot of the things that he does, and how that puts he's trying to do things to support our players and our coaches and our staff to help them be the best and most efficient and effective and get the most out of that group. And I think he obviously is a really phenomenal leader and has done an unbelievable job. And so very pleased to be here.
5 sacks Saturday. Now I know each week is different, but what did you like about the pressure in that game that you can use going forward?
Sure. I think we have done a really good job at times throughout the year in every ball game of rushing effectively. I think that somewhere in there, several games back, we maybe got into a few bad habits or weren't maybe emphasizing things as well as we could. And sometimes it's just the teams you play, the ball's coming out fast, they're leaving extra guys in the block, a guy barely misses a sack or something like that. But I think our guys have really honed in these last several games. We've been really emphasizing pass rush and pass coverage in practice, and I think that we're seeing the fruits of our labor from that standpoint. So I thought Coach Chapman did a great job with our front last week of really getting them dialed in as far as affecting the quarterback in the pocket. And fortunately, we were able to get him down 5 times, and there was another handful that were really close. So I would love to have that situation come up this week as well.
You missed out on the shutout. Was that a bummer for you?
No, we got to win, so I'm happy. And holding that team with that receiver and some of the schemes that they run to 8 points, I was extremely proud of our kids and their fight and how hard they played and their execution level. And man, it's hard to win, much less hold somebody a low point total or shut them out. So yeah, that would have been neat, but we found a way to win on the road and put ourselves in a great position this week.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.